Josuke's fight with Highway Star plays out the same as it does in canon, not really anything to change there. After he beats up Yuya, he heads back to the tunnel to save Jotaro and Rohan. As the setting sun bled its last light over Morio, Josuke tore down the street on Rohan's motorcycle, the engine's growl matching the thud of his heart. The wind slapped his face, stinging his eyes, but he didn't dare slow down.
This is just great.
Fungami had promised he'd return Jotaro and Rohan's nutrients, but that didn't mean Josuke trusted him at his word. The tunnel was as cold and damp as Josuke remembered, the smell of wet concrete clinging to the air. His footsteps echoed as he rushed inside. When he got close to the halfway point, he found Rohan slumped against the tunnel wall, his figure obscured in the semi-darkness. The room he had been trapped in had disappeared, leaving only the smooth tunnel wall in its place.
Rohan!
Josuke called, his voice echoing down the tunnel. No response. As Josuke drew near, he could see that Rohan's skin was almost white as paper, his flesh shrunken on his face and chest. But he let out a sigh of relief as he heard breathing.
Nice of you to keep me in suspense,
Josuke muttered, kneeling beside him. He set Crazy Diamond to work, and soon the color returned to Rohan's face. Rohan gasped, his eyes fluttering open. He returned to Josuke, looking strangely calm.
Josuke?
In the flesh.
Josuke stood up, searching around. He saw Jotaro laying a few meters away on his back, in a similar state to Rohan.
You?
Rohan tried to stand up after him, but still seemed a little woozy. He caught himself on the wall of the tunnel.
Why did you heal me?
Huh?
Josuke whipped back around to face him.
You meddlesome brat!
Rohan stood up to his full height.
I would rather die than be saved by you.
What?
Josuke's mouth hung open in surprise.
Not to mention, you stepped into the enemy's trap after I told you to run. How stupid can you be?
Josuke crossed his arms, muttering.
You're welcome.
Under his breath.
Don't you're welcome me!
Rohan snapped. His voice wavered just enough to betray how rattled he was.
You're too reckless for your own good, Josuke. If you just listened...
Then you'd be dead. And I'm not letting anyone else die on my watch when I could have saved them. Take that for what it's worth, you prick.
Rohan clicked his tongue, turning away with a scoff.
Sentimentality over strategy. Typical.
Anyway, I didn't save you just to be nice. You said you know something about Yoshikage Kira, and I need you to tell me what it is.
Rohan turned back to him with surprise and raised an eyebrow.
Is that his name? The one we've been looking for?
Josuke swallowed hard.
Yes. I know it because I've met him. Now tell me what you know about him.
Rohan's eyes widened, then flicked to somewhere Josuke couldn't see. Then he took a moment before replying.
So you're finally ready to listen? I don't know if you're bright enough to handle this, given how stupid you've shown yourself to be.
Just tell me already. If we really want to catch this guy, you'll have to trust me.
Rohan scoffed.
I'm a long way from trusting you. I've despised you ever since I laid eyes on you. But in the interest of dispatching a mutual foe, I'll be the mature one and set my differences aside to achieve the greater good.
But sure, you're the one who said you'd rather die than be saved by me.
Rohan's mouth twitched to the side. He said nothing for a long time, then finally decided to speak.
I was trying to tell you that the killer, this Yoshikage Kira, definitely murdered Reimi Sugimoto 15 years ago. And I know because I was there to witness it.
What?
Josuke's interest was piqued.
What do you mean?
I went to visit her grave to see what I could learn, and the gravekeeper told me some interesting things. Apparently, it was all in the papers 15 years ago. Kira's only murder that he left evidence of, since he didn't have his stand back then. He snuck into the Sugimoto house when Reimi was there alone and surprised her. But Reimi didn't die because she was careless or stupid. She was caught because she was trying to help a small child escape from her house, before the murderer caught him as well.
Josuke's mind clicked into place as Rohan was talking.
And the child was you.
Yes. I was only 4 at the time, so I don't remember any of it. Well, only a few flashes, admittedly. But she was my neighbor, so she must have been watching me while both our parents were gone.
Josuke thought for a moment.
So she was telling the truth. She really does just want to protect you.
Of course.
Rohan turned back toward the dark end of the tunnel, the rhythmic drip of water filling the space between them.
But she also wants justice for her murder. To do that, I need to know what you and Jodoro have uncovered about him.
Josuke's eyes widened in a panic.
Jotaro!
He turned around and saw Jotaro still just laying there. He ran over his standout, ready to heal.
Wait!
Rohan called.
What?
Josuke snapped at him. Jotaro was still alive, his chest faintly rising and falling, but his body was weak and withered from Highway Star's attack.
I have to find out if he caught the other murderer that night at the house!
Other murderer?
Rohan caught up, huffing slightly.
What are you talking about?
The night the arrow was stolen from my house. My grandpa. He told me the police found out there's 2 murderers in Morio. Jodoro ran off to go find the culprit on his own. I found him the next day, but when I asked him if he'd found him, Jodoro just ran off. And this is the first time I've seen him since then. If I heal him, then I can find out what he saw!
Josuke knelt down, ready to fix Jotoro's wounds.
What makes you think he'll tell you?
Huh?
Josuke turned to face him.
Well, if he wouldn't tell you the first time and ran off, what makes you think he'll do it now?
Josuke looked over to Jotaro again, a tide of apprehension rising in his chest. He hated to admit it, but Rohan's words did hold some weight. Jotaro had disappeared from his life since that day. How could Josuke know if he'd tell him anything and not just run away again?
If you want to know what really happened that night, let's read his memories with Heaven's Door.
Rohan! We can't just read his memories without permission!
I figured you'd say that. That's why you'll never be a great artist like me. You're too small-minded.
Regardless...
Josuke wasn't sure how to respond to the insult.
It's a massive breach of privacy! Jodoro would be furious if he ever found out!
He won't find out.
Rohan pulled his stand out.
He's unconscious, and even if he wakes up, I'll erase it from his memory.
Rohan strode over to Jotaro, ready to touch him and make him into a living book when Josuke stepped in his path, blocking him.
Stop. I'm not gonna let you do this.
Josuke, we have to do this. Jodoro has already shown he's unwilling to tell us what he knows. If you want to catch Kira and the other guy, then we will need as much information as we possibly can. Since Jodoro won't volunteer it, we'll get it out of him another way.
But he's my friend.
If he really was your friend, then he would have told you what was going on, instead of just running away. I've already made up my mind about this, so get out of the way.
Josuke's jaw tightened. He knew Rohan was right, but his heart still screamed not to let him pass. He looked back to Jodoro's fallen form. No matter what he was hiding, this whole conflict with Highway Star and Fungami could have been avoided if Jodoro hadn't gone off on his own.
Come on, Josuke. How many more people do you want to end up like Raimi? We need to do this.
Like Raimi. Like his grandpa. He relaxed his stance.
All right.
He moved aside. Rohan knelt beside Jotaro and touched his face with Heaven's Door. Pages bloomed like a book across Jotoro's skin, as if his mind was opening for them in book form. The pages opened on his chest and arms as well. Then they began to fill, words and images flowing like ink from an invisible pen.
My, what a long story he has to tell.
Rohan's eyes looked hungry as he scanned the countless pages.
Rohan, we're only going to read about what happened the night he disappeared.
Oh, fine.
Rohan sighed. He began skimming over them, looking for the date of the night where the arrow had disappeared. Josuke began to look as well, trying to sort out where his own name began appearing in Jotoro's history.
There.
Rohan stopped, tapping a page marked with a date Josuke recognized. The night the arrow vanished from his house. Josuke leaned over, heart pounding. He read over their battle at the Higashikata house. Then Jotaro ran off to go find someone. His thoughts appeared alongside the description of his actions. Green shards. A web. 2 murderers looking for an arrow.
No.
He'd run to the police station, found a message left for him on his grandfather's report. Then he'd went to the Morio cemetery, and there he'd met someone named Noriaki Kakyoin, the one in possession of the arrow. The conversation between them was tense and clipped, as Josuke could tell from the short snippets they appeared in.
Now, it's my turn to promise you something. If you ever try to stop me again, I'll kill your little friends. What was that boy's name? Josuke?
If you touch Josuke, I will kill you.
Quit kidding yourself with that line. You could have done it already, but you didn't.
When they finally reached the end, Josuke felt himself only feeling confused.
Who is this Noriaki Kakyoin? It seems like he and Jodoro know each other quite well.
I don't know. Jodoro's never mentioned him. Whoever he is, it seems like he's got it out for me.
Rohan went to Jotoro's chest and started flipping pages further back there.
Hey, what are you doing?
If we're to understand who this Kakyoin character is, then we'll have to read up on Jodoro's history with him.
Rohan's tone was brisk, like it was the most obvious thing in the world. Josuke scowled, ready to protest, but then he remembered Kakyoin's cold words, his personal threat to Josuke still buzzing in the back of his mind. As much as it grated to admit it, he wanted answers too.
There. This is where the mentions of him begin.
Rohan pointed to the date, 1989.
Wait. That was the year Jodoro went to Egypt to kill Dio.
Rohan was ignoring him, his eyes rapidly sweeping back and forth over the words. Josuke edged in, reading alongside him. At first it felt intrusive, like he was spying on something too private. But then the words began to pull him in, a story opening in front of him. He and Rohan didn't say a word as they continued to read.